Welcome to another Clash Royale video with Snoop Boys Gaming. I'm your host, TSP. I wanted to share with everyone an idea that recently came to me, which would help players, and especially free-to-play players, easily collect more gold in the game. I had whims of this previously, but have never really given it much thought and actually considered doing something about it. Now, when playing the game, most free-to-play players and light spenders might turn towards free-to-play decks and free-to-play cards, which are, of course, common and rare cards because they're really much easier and quicker to level up and max out. Whereas epic and legendary cards are very hard, if not impossible, to level up as a free-to-play player. Now, I've played Clash Royale for maybe about 2 years on and off, with the majority of this time being consistent gameplay. And during this time, I'm currently about 70 out of 80,000 experience points from being a level 13. I've gotten my common cards mostly up to around level 12 and a quarter, considering all the cards in general, excluding the ones that I request and level up to max. My rares to about level 9.5 in general, maybe 9 3/4. Some are sufficient for level 10, but of course I face the problem that many players, even pay-to-win players, face, being the lack of gold to level up all the cards, which is of higher importance if you're interested in the game and trying out different decks, and especially if you want to battle in clan wars on a high level. So most of my epics are barely level 6, some of the ones that I've consistently been buying from the shop are somewhere around level 7, and of course with Epic Sundays, which started around a year and a half ago, I've collected enough cards for one maximum level epic. I have a few level 3 legendaries here and there, with the rest being level 2s, and before I got enough cards for my first level 3 legendary, I've always considered that my opponents with level 3 or even higher legendaries are really lucky or are just pay-to-win players, and I've thought that I'd never be able to achieve a high level legendary, and especially a maximum level legendary. Now, of course, buying legendaries from the shop can take a really long time and might be a luxury that most free-to-play players can't afford, and especially if you're only focused on certain ones because of the rate at which they're offered, and sometimes it can even be possible that you don't see the same legendary for the time period of 6 months. But nevertheless, it's better to be able to buy the legendary that you want to level up anytime you can, instead of relying on luck, because even with the available draft chests, sometimes maybe you'll never get a chest with your favorite legendary for many months. Currently, the rate of legendaries given to high-level players, excluding challenges, tournaments, and the ones offered in the shop, is about 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 if you're really lucky, for every week or 2 of gameplay. And even at these high numbers, with the increasing amount of legendaries in the game, it can take a long time for you to get the legendary that you want. With the recent introduction of trade tokens, theoretically, it's possible to collect enough cards for a maximum level legendary in one day, considering you're willing to trade other legendary cards from your collection, and you have enough of them. And you find that many other players with legendary tokens who are willing to trade that card to you. There's currently a 10% chance of getting a token from Clan War Bounty, and the odds of it being a legendary are only 40% out of that 10%, so the frequency of getting a legendary token is 1 for every 50 days of everyday Clan War activity. So a few days ago, I noticed my clan mates requesting common cards, and these are players that have maxed out, if not close to maxed out accounts. And immediately this reminded me that one of the main reasons to collect a common card, even if it is unused and probably will never see a high usage rate like some other cards, as soon as they have it maxed out, any number of cards that they receive from chests or quests for this specific card, beyond the number of cards you can hold, will be converted into gold. So immediately I thought to myself, even if it takes some months to max out my common cards, it'll probably still be worth it considering the amount of gold that I'll be getting daily. I have a clanmate who has told me he's 100% free to play, and even so, he has 3 level 4 legendaries. I recently took a look at his card collection on Deckshop Pro and Royale API, and it turns out he has all his common cards maxed out. So I had done some calculations a few months back to see how much golden cards I would be getting daily, so I could keep track of my progress in the game and make better strategic choices in the cards I level up and what I buy from the shop. And back before the improvement of the economy in the game with the chest buffs, when the amount of golden cards in chests were increased, and it came out to around 3,000 gold per day of gameplay and regular unlocking of chests. So just to back up my theory, I redid these calculations and summed in all the quest rewards, quest chests, regular chest cycle, the season draft chest, daily clan wars, and casual gameplay with infrequent tournaments and challenges as a free-to-play player. Quests could give somewhere between 250 and 1000 gold a day, depending on which quest rewards you get. The chest cycle with regular chest opening, for which the minimum amount of time to go through a complete chest cycle is around 44 days, but realistically, with regular everyday gameplay and casually missing a day or two, I've set this chest cycle to 50 days for my calculations. Through this chest cycle, you'll be given an average of 2,400 gold a day. Adding in daily victory gold, casual tournaments and challenges, and the eventual gold rushes and similar quest-like events, the gold contained in the season draft chest divided by the days of the month would come out to an average of 150 gold a day. Daily clan war activity could gain between 500 and 1000 gold a day on average. So in total, the current gold rewards in the game average to about 5000 gold a day, or somewhere around 150,000 gold a month. Depending on when you started playing the game and how much time, effort, and resources you've invested, of course this number is going to differ for you. It might be much lower or it might be higher, but I suggest this either way because, especially as a lower level player, the additional gold will help you find the right path for your development easier. Of course, there are many methods to increase the production of gold in the game, not counting the pay-to-win methods of buying gems, chests, and gold, and playing grand challenges regularly. Daily victory gold from ladder and 2v2 games would be another method, even though they're limited, and classic challenges for free-to-play players also do help in the production of gold, but they can be time-taking, and the method of maxing common cards is a really passive way of making the game work for you at the sacrifice of a few months of requests. Because of course by this point you've probably already realized that it's much easier to gather the cards for a common card than it is to make the gold required to level it up, as opposed to the rare cards, which would also take a really long time to collect. But by the time you max out a rare card with requests, you'll already have more than enough gold to level it up. And it takes much longer to level up a rare card than it does a common. So as you're tuning into this video, you're probably somewhere around my level, or better yet, lower. Because looking back, I wish that there was a way for me to find all of this out earlier in my gameplay, so I could have a much easier progress in the game. Maxing out your common card collection doesn't mean leveling all of them up, although I would advise leveling up all of your cards to tournament standard levels, and even buying an occasional legendary to unlock it, so you can have more time to get experience with the card and try out different decks, which of course would help in draft battles, which are the main format of the game in which new cards are unlocked. But all you need to take advantage of this method is to have the number of cards maxed out, disregarding their levels. So here are the calculations to support my theory that it is worth it to sacrifice a few months of requests for rare cards in order to get a decent amount of increase in gold production. So with quests you get an average of 60 cards a day, the regular chest cycle would give you an additional 200 on average, tournaments and challenges would give you an average of 20 cards a day, the draft chest would give around 10 on average, and the clan war chest, depending on your clan's ranking, could give up to 42 cards a day. In total, you'll be getting an average of 320 cards a day, 260 of which would be common. Of course, these values could differ depending on your experience level, ranking and ladder, and your clan's ranking, but from my point of view, this is achievable with consistent gameplay. So now, how much is a common worth? When you get a common card that you've already maxed out from a chest, you get 5 gold for each one. 260 cards times 5 gold would be something around 1,300 gold a day, and this would average around 40,000 gold a month. Now you'll decide whether it's worth it for you to sacrifice somewhere between 3 and 6 months of requests for rare cards in order to get an additional legendary of your choice that's practically free each month, or the gold that you really need to level up your cards for the decks that you really want to play on ladder and to be consistent in clan wars. Because at a certain skill level, even if you have much more experience than your opponent, card levels do matter. And what's even more important are the breakpoints and card interactions, which I'll be discussing in the series Clash Royale Breakpoints. So taking a look at my player profile at Royale API, I currently have 51,700 common cards to collect before I max them out. Considering the chests would give an average of 280 common cards a day, and my ability to request 3 times a day, which would give me an additional 110 common cards a day, I'd only be sacrificing around 4 months of requests in order to get more gold. Doing so, I would aid the process of maxing out my commons naturally, which would decrease the time required at around a third, giving me the ability to gain that much more gold 2 months earlier. I should mention that it's a good idea to request the common card you have least of to keep the balance between the number of common cards you have before they're maxed out. This way you'll reach max for all cards at around the same time, and would avoid getting cards that are already maxed out from chests, so your donation requests aren't wasted, even though the odds of pulling a card that you've already maxed out are significantly lower. Any card trades that would help this process should be used. And of course, it's common sense to not buy commons from the shop with this strategy, since the amount of gold you're refunded when you donate and receive additional cards for a max card is only 50% of the cost in the shop. Now, I would also suggest this for maxed or close to maxed out players if they don't have all their common cards maxed out, unless you'd really prefer to get another rare card leveled up quicker. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped you and you learned something from it. And if you'd be interested in more Clash Royale strategy, keep an ear out, cause we'll keep them coming.